What happens when a mother's mental illness leads to an unspeakable tragedy? The Lindsay Clancy trial is forcing the world to answer that question. And why does this matter? Here's the law. A Massachusetts mother killed her 3 young children. Her defense, postpartum psychosis. The trial is making headlines around the world, and it's raising questions every family needs to ask. What is postpartum psychosis? How is it treated? And what happens when a mother's mental illness leads to an unspeakable tragedy? Today, we are going to break down what postpartum psychosis is, what the law says about criminal responsibility, and most importantly, what you need to know to protect your family before things go horribly wrong. Let's start with the condition at the center of this case. Postpartum psychosis is a rare but serious mental illness that affects approximately 1 to 2 women per 1,000 births. The symptoms include extreme mood swings, rapid shifts from depression to elation, delusions, false beliefs that are not grounded in reality, confusion, disorientation and difficulty thinking clearly, hallucinations, hearing or seeing things that aren't there, loss of contact with reality, the inability to distinguish what is real from what is not. The Society of Obstetricians and Gynecologists of Canada warns that postpartum psychosis is a medical emergency. It requires immediate medical attention, often hospitalization. The distinction matters. In Lindsay Clancy's trial, the defense is arguing that her mental illness, bipolar disorder, and postpartum psychosis meant she could not be held criminally responsible. She does not deny she killed her children. The question is whether she was capable of understanding the nature and wrongfulness of her actions. In Canada, the defense of not criminally responsible NCR due to mental disorder is governed by the Criminal Code of Canada. The test in establishing NCR: an accused person may be found NCR if at the time of the offense they were suffering from a mental disorder that rendered them incapable of appreciating the nature and quality of their act or omission, or incapable of knowing that it was wrong. What happens if someone is found NCR? The person is not convicted of a crime. Instead, they are detained in a hospital until they no longer pose a significant threat to the safety of the public. The review board must hold a hearing within 45 days of the NCR finding, and at least once every 12 months thereafter to determine the person's status. The key difference is as follows. Criminal conviction leads to punishment, imprisonment, and a criminal record. NCR finding leads to treatment in a secure hospital with the possibility of release when no longer a risk to the public. This is not a get out of jail free card. People found NCR are often detained longer than they would have been if convicted and sentenced. Here's what every family needs to know. about postpartum psychosis and how to protect yourself and your loved ones. Number one, know the signs. Postpartum psychosis is a medical emergency, not a character flaw. Warning signs include sudden, rapid mood changes, confusion and disorientation, delusions or paranoid thinking, hallucinations, thoughts of harming yourself or your baby, inability to sleep even when exhausted. Number two, seek help immediately. If you or someone you know is experiencing these symptoms, do not wait. Call 911 if there is an immediate risk of harm. Go to the nearest emergency room. Contact a crisis line in your area. Number three, there is no shame in asking for help. Postpartum psychosis is a medical condition, not a moral failing. Seeking help is a sign of strength and not weakness. Number four, support new mothers. Many women are reluctant to share their symptoms out of fear of being judged or losing custody of their children. Creating a culture of support and openness can save lives. Number five, know your legal rights. If you or a loved one is experiencing mental illness, it is important to understand your legal rights, including the right to treatment, the right to informed consent, and the right to confidentiality. So in sum, here is your move. Postpartum psychosis is a medical emergency, not a moral failing. It affects up to 2 in 1,000 new mothers. If you or someone you know is experiencing symptoms, call 911 if there is an immediate risk of harm. Go to the nearest emergency room. Contact a crisis line in your area. There is no shame in asking for help. Seeking help is a sign of strength. And if you or a family member or a friend needs help, support them. Support new mothers. Listen, don't judge. Encourage them to seek the help they need. This is iChat Law, where the law gets real. If you found this helpful, like, subscribe, and turn on your post notifications. Know your rights, protect your future. I'll see you on the next one.